Hey there, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, amazing agents. Welcome back, Real Success Nation. This is Coach Bill Pipes coming at you as always, alive, excited, and full of energy. Hey, happy holidays. You made it. It's December again, right? I hope that you guys are just absolutely crushing it here as we finish off 2015 and really jump into 2016. As all of you know, really the work that you're doing right now truly separates you from the competition that's out there. Most agents that are in the industry, they stopped working about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and they'll start back up somewhere after January, as January 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere around there. And I just want to acknowledge you. If you're working, if you're calling your past clients, if you're working your database, if you're calling expireds, you're on top of your marketing, you are an outlier. You're someone that your clients can rely upon. And more importantly, you're someone that really takes this business seriously. So, for those of you that are doing that, I acknowledge you. I say congratulations. And if you're not, hey guys, what are you waiting on? This is such a great time to be able to capture market share when everyone else is not working and you choose to, you begin to actually gobble up market share from other agents and, be able to actually grow your business. So it's that wonderful 180-degree theory that if you do what others aren't doing, you'll be able to have what others will never have. So, this time of the year, it's an interesting time of the year because it's really about reinventing ourselves. I know a lot of you out there have created your business plan. You created your life plan of your personal goals that you're working on as well too. And really what we're doing is we're reinventing. We're saying, here's where I am. Here's where I stand. Here's where I'd like to go. Here's the gap. And who do I need to reinvent myself? Who do I need to re-engineer myself as in order to be able to bridge that gap in 2016 and beyond and ultimately, become the person that you always wanted to become? My guest today is, I gotta tell you guys, I've been, I know I say this a lot. I've really, really been looking forward to this one. And he's a good friend of mine, someone that is just, when we talk about reinventing, we talk about re-engineering. This young man has done it, he's cracked the code. He's done it seamlessly and moved from one industry to the next and to grown his business in different components and different sources and really has got this whole reinventing down. And I thought, who better to bring to Real Success Nation here, at the end of the year than my good friend, we've had the chance to work together as coach and coaching client. I'm inspired by him. This guy is crushing it, has just pulled down a major television program on HGTV. My, kick-ass good friend, Mr. Jessie Rodriguez. So Jesse, say hello to Real Success Nation, brother.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hi, Bill. How you doing?
Dude, I'm rocking, man. Rocking and rolling. So Jesse, our goal here out of our Real Success interviews is to really help these individuals that are listening right now walk away from this call with 3 or 4 key components that they can actually take, plug into their business, and begin to have some of the success that you have had. Okay. So as we get started here, bro, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself? Who are you? How long in the business? And where do you sell?
So name's Jessie Rodriguez, based out of Southern California in the city of Claremont. I've been licensed since 2004 and, got into the market in a great industry, right? I mean, it was great times. I was doing loans when I first started, so I wasn't even a realtor. And I was doing really well for many years. And then the market crashed like it did for everybody else. And it was hard on everybody. And you had to try to, embrace the chaos that was happening in 2007, 2008, 2009, and try to reinvent yourself. And that's something that I worked on and I did, and I kept changing who I was. But, since then we've had, we've had a ton of success. We've sold thousands of homes as team, have a brokerage, have an escrow company, started selling to investors, became a flipper myself, and now have a TV show on HGTV that's showcasing, the art of flipping and fixing up historical homes and stuff. So it's been a crazy 11 years, to get to this point. And just seems like every 2-3 years there's something new going on that you have to kind of adapt to.
So how old are you, Jesse?
I'm 33.
Dude, you're a baby, brother.
33 years old. Yeah, no, I know, man. I'm still young. You know, I wish I was like 25 again, though.
Dude, that's incredible. Like, so I didn't realize you were 33. I thought you were a little bit older, even though you look really, really young. You've had so much success in such a short amount of time. So you got the business.
This is what makes me look older. This is the real estate wrinkles, I call them.
The real estate wrinkles. Yes. I got the real estate bags over here. So this year, you and your team will sell how many homes?
So this year, we're going to sell 105 homes.
Is that up from the previous year?
Yeah, we were mid 80s last year.
Okay, good. Great growth, man. So you added 20 transactions, 30% growth. Now you guys also flip properties. So how many properties will you guys flip this year?
So we're on track to close this year 32 flips.
32 flips.
32
and
flips, almost 3 a month.
3 a month. Awesome. And then I think you said your goal for next year is 150. Is that right?
Yeah. So we're going to go 150 transactions for the team and bump up the flips to 50 next year.
50. Now, a lot of times people hear these incredible numbers and they think, oh, he must have a huge team. This is one of the things that impresses me the most about you is that your team is not that big. How many people do you have on your team?
So it's myself and 2 buyer's agents. And then in the real estate side of it, a personal assistant and a transaction coordinator.
That's it.
That's it. And then in the flip division, I have someone who helps me acquire the homes and run the construction and manage them. So, I mean, it's still really small when you think about how many units we're doing.
Yeah, dude, your per agent productivity is 33 transactions per agent on your team. I mean, that's one of the better numbers that I've seen across the boards nationally. So over the years, dude, you've worn many hats. Why don't you take us through the different stages of your growth in the business in 2004 and just sort of take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, so I started the business in 2004 as like a mortgage assistant, like a junior loan officer. Did a few months, branched off, started doing my own loans, started making really good money, excuse me. And in 2007, the market crashed and it was tough. Me and Tina just got married. We got married on May 10th of 2007. We bought our house on July 5th of 2007. And by February of 2008, we were short selling it. Wow. So talk about, a great woman, right? A great wife. She was with me in college, saw me grow. We get married and then devastation, right? The world's ending to us in real estate. There's no transactions. My mortgage company was doing well. We were doing 30 units a month it was just gone. I mean, I'll never forget 2007, 2008, how like the rug just got pulled from under us. So we moved in with her mom and dad, after we short sold the house. We were 6 months married. She was the one supporting us. She was doing everything. She was allowing me to kind of re-engage myself. I got a job as working for a mortgage company just because I wanted the salary of like $2,000 a month, just to bring something in, like the draw that they were going to give me from being independent. When I was doing that, the only people I saw making money were the REO agents. So I came home one day and I told Tina, I said, I'm going to become an REO agent. She's like, what is it? I said, I don't know, but it's when the house is foreclosed, they got to give them to somebody. So why don't they give them to me? So I would work in the daytime at the bank. At night, I would stay up till 2, 3 in the morning, signing up for all these goofy websites like free BPO lists, sign up here and you'll get REOs. I literally signed up for hundreds and hundreds of sites and a lot of them made you pay money. And I was just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to invest the $100, the $200, the $500, even though we didn't have it at the time, because I said, I'm going to make this happen. Well, lo and behold, I stumbled across an asset manager looking for an agent in Big Bear, which was 2.5 hours away from me. And they're like, do you service that area? I said, yes, I do. I love Big Bear. And so to get Tina, we jump in the car on a Saturday. I drive up there and the house is completely vacant. Okay. I mean, it's stickers on the window saying that it's been secured and all this other random stuff. And I look through the window, there's no furniture. And I look at Tina and I said, I think it's occupied. Because I knew nothing, right? Yeah. I mean, I was a loan guy. I wasn't even a regular realtor to even understand like selling houses. I went straight from loans to getting my first ever foreclosure listing. And I made a great relationship with that bank and that asset manager. And within 6 months, I had 30 properties with her. She, wow. learning how to do it, rekeying and all the steps. And so my whole first start of my career as a realtor from 2008 till 2012, I only sold foreclosures. And it went from being dead broke by the end of 2007 to selling 20 houses. I mean, I didn't actually get into REO till June of 2008 because I was doing the job loan thing.
Yep.
In 6 months, we closed, I think, 20 houses or 30 houses. By the next year, it was 100 in 2009. 2010, it was 200. In 2011, 2012, we hit just under 400 units.
Wow.
At the same
Was that the peak? Was that the peak?
That was the peak for us. Yeah. 400, 390, somewhere right in there was where we hit our highest number of units. We were still a small team. At that point, Tina and I bought another house. Everything was great again. And, right when everything is going good, you kind of get complacent. That's kind of the killer, I think.
Yeah.
You ask about how do you reinvent, right? So by then, I had a good amount of staff. I wasn't doing as much. I wasn't as engaged. I wasn't out there getting all the REO accounts. We were just more maintaining what we had. And I lost my love a little bit for the process. And right when that starts happening, the market starts getting better. 2012, 11 and 12, the market starts shifting a little bit. And all of a sudden, all the hedge funds entered into our marketplace. And I was like, oh, this is a new thing. Hedge funds. What are they doing? They want to buy. So after years of selling, the disposition of like bad assets, I'm now helping hedge funds buy assets and invest in them. At this point, I also flipped a couple houses, not a lot, two in 1 year, one the next year, 3. But then we started selling to the hedge funds 20 and 30 homes a month. So we kept up our volume in 12 and 13 with a few hundred units because we were just selling. At this point,
I didn't know that. I did not know that you guys. Was it you and Thorman at that time?
Yes. Jason was with me since like 2010.
Yeah, big shout out to Jason Thorman. Just honestly, one of the most amazing dudes. Jesse's business partner or old business partner. Really good guy, Jason. You rock, dude.
Yes, so. I will agree with that. Jason's the best. I mean, Jason holds a piece of my heart. We built that business together, and he was amazing. He's definitely missed in the office by everybody.
Yeah. So you do the asset. So all of a sudden you can move from asset management working with asset managers to the hedge fund. And exactly. Then does that run out? That has a half?
That had a lifespan as well. They were buying, a couple hundred houses from us a year. It lasted about a year and a half. We hit 2013, the end of 2013. And it's like, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Even though I've been a realtor, I've been a successful realtor, right? One of the top ones that people were looking up to in our valley. I still was never a regular realtor. I wasn't selling your house, my mom and dad's house. I didn't have time for that. I was a corporate realtor essentially, either for the banks or for the hedge funds. I was buying or selling. So again, I had to reinvent, and it took time to realize, wow, I have a database. I have my sphere of influence. I'm liked by a large percentage of the people that run into me like me. And why am I not tapping that? Why have I never had time to help them? So I shifted our model over and we started doing more standard sales. And while doing that, we started doing a lot of investing and flipping as well. I learned how to find deals for the hedge funds. And what we realized is as we were finding the deals, because we had an acquisition division, it was like, we're selling this house to the hedge fund for, 200 grand and it rents at whatever number. Well, I didn't even realize, it flips at 350. Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, so then I told my team, I said, let's keep looking, even though the hedge fund's not buying, let's keep looking and searching and let's see if we can sell to other investors. And then we started selling to other investors for flips. We started managing some of the flips for them, construction. And then I said, why am I doing this for other people? Let's do this for ourselves. We have a little bit of capital, we have relationships. And, in the last 2 years, 2014, 2015 is when we really, really went hard and started flipping 20 plus homes a year. We got a construction division. We're licensed as a general contractor now, but I never went away from regular real estate. At that point, regular real estate was pumping, and traditional sales. And it's like, the one thing is that I think that I want everybody to know, the message is, don't go become a flipper or don't become, everybody go become an asset manager. I'm not saying, don't, but realize what cycle we're in. I used to get really offended when people would say, you're just a niche agent. I'm selling 100 standard sales. You're just doing REO. You'll go away. Well, I've proven, I think, everybody wrong, that we're not going to go away because real estate is real estate. All I did was, who is the bulk buyer or the bulk seller at that moment in the life cycle of our real estate channel? And let's focus our attention to that. And I think all the greats shifted to that. Yeah. We've got short sale Kirk, right? Who did a ton of short sales. Now he's standard sale. He's broker Kirk because he just knew it's time to shift. And that's what we have to do.
Dude, let me put you on the spot here. I didn't put this as something I was going to ask you. But I remember you and I were sitting in Ojai, right? We're sitting outside of that little restaurant bar, right? And we're talking about, where are we in the cycle? Remember that? So we're at the team.
What did I say?
Yeah. You and I were just talking. I was like,
Yeah.
well, man, I'm not sure. Are we on the upward trend? Or are we in the downward trend? And we couldn't really, at that time, we didn't really have. Yeah, it's hard to tell. So what are you doing right now in terms of positioning yourself for the next trend? What's the next niche that you're looking at?
Okay, there's still REO out there. There's still guys selling foreclosures, guys and gals, people. So that's still a niche that's there. And there's people that are still heavy in keeping those relationships alive. I try to jump in at the strongest, highest percentage chance of it. So I'm not focused on REO too much right now because I think I would be spinning my wheels to get not a lot of transactions. And right now is the standard sell niche. You know what I mean? Everything is a niche. We went from the REO niche to the hedge fund niche, or let's call it the investor niche, to we're now in the traditional market niche where people are, they're either buying up, they're selling down, right? They need something smaller, they're downsizing, the baby boomers are retiring, and that's where the focus is, I think. I don't think our market's going to shift anytime soon in the next, I think we've got 24 plus months of this same market that we had this year. We're going to see up and down cycles in the 12 months. The spring was really hot for us this year, right? And then I think everybody saw third quarter, it slowed down, for whatever reason. I think we're just going to keep seeing that.
Good.
It's going to be high in the spring, a little bit lower in the fall, the winter, but there's still thousands of transactions happening.
Yeah, economically, we're moving forward strong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's a strong economy. Yeah, that was the conversation that you and I had. So, dude, now you've got the TV show. So you've got the HGTV show. So that comes in based upon the flipping that you're doing.
Yes.
And we'll talk a little bit about that later. So what are the keys? Like if you were to give us, because we got a lot of people who are listening right now going, okay, look, I sold 7 homes last year. I want to reinvent myself, in terms of an agent that sells 20 or 30 homes next year or 15, right? What are the keys to reinvention, to re-engineering yourself?
Well, I think if you're going from if you want to go from 7 to 20, it's not even reinventing. Maybe it's reinventing your work ethic. It's probably what we have to do. You know what I mean? Because we're in that same market. Like if you're selling 7 homes, duplicate what you did to do the 7 to get to 20, right? Like you mentioned it earlier in your intro, the outliers are the agents that are still working right now. I'm as busy, on December 9th or whatever today is, right, as I am in March 10th or July 20th. There's no such thing as it's winter, it's Christmas, let's stop working. So many industries really try to slow down, or they think people are still buying and selling. Why are we slowing down? You know what I mean? So I think that agent that wants to go from 7 to 20, it's really focused on a plan of action to get in front of more people. It's a sales game. It's a prospecting game. You know that. You taught me that. So it's how many people are they talking to, and then are they following up with those people? Are they asking the right questions? Is their head in the right place? How many times has somebody come up to us and is like, how's the real estate market? And if you're down, you're like, oh, it's okay. That was an open-ended question for help me. I want to know, like, if I answer it like it's amazing, like, how are you feeling about it? Are you experiencing it? Have you seen the equity growth? Isn't it exciting? There's not foreclosures everywhere. Like, it's like nobody remembers in 2008, 2009, how many for sale signs were on the street and dead grass. I'm like, I see green grass everywhere and I put a smile on my face because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's awesome. Like, the market feels better. People are happy. So I think for that agent to reinvent themselves, it's just a work ethic thing, I think. You know what I mean? Get to work, do the right stuff, and actually work. Because we get lost in the paperwork so often that you have to have, I think, the right support to make sure you're passing on those items and you're just doing the sales things that need to happen to make transactions.
So it's interesting because I didn't know that you and Tina actually moved into her parents' house. I mean, it's
not a story we tell to too many people.
Yeah. Now you get to tell it to 27,000 people or 50,000 people who are going to watch this.
I want to humanize it because I think everybody sees the end result of success. Oh, they're doing great or this or that. And they don't realize that everybody struggled. I don't care who you are. If you're the richest person, if you had a trust fund, you know what I mean? There was still something that might have happened in your life that made you get remotivated, because how many people get millions of dollars and then blow it? Yeah. Right. So we can't knock someone if they had a ton of money and then did something with it, or if they started from humble beginnings and did something with it. We worked hard to be in a good place now. Now I save a lot more. I was young before. I'm never going to allow the next market turn to affect me, because I'm not going to, I'm going to leverage some, but I'm not going to over leverage my life. You know,
Yeah.
one thing a mentor told me was, if you never displace your family from their home, they will never know what's happening around them. So the world could be crumbling, right? Another like foreclosure devastation can happen to everyone. But if your kids can continue to go to school in the same school and get raised in that same home, it doesn't really affect them that much. It's when we have to pick up and move them to another neighborhood or this or that, or move in with the parents and the in-laws, that it really like hits. So I made a promise to myself that I'm not going to over leverage my mortgage ever. So that if I ever have to go back and get, a job at, $5 an hour or something, I can survive, and my kids can still have food on the table, and they can still have that same home that they have. Because that's the key, right? I mean, we sell homes for people. That's everyone's heart.
Yeah. Dude, I love what you just said. This whole focus on family, because I know that Tina means the world to you and your kids mean the world to you. You're sitting in I want to take you back to, you're sitting in your Tina's parents' house. You guys are there. Was there ever a time that you're just like, crap, man, like it's all crumbling around you, and like you just were like so frustrated? How did you get back mentally? Because I've never seen you, dude. We were laughing about this before the interview. We were just in Vegas and we're at the craps table and actually getting our rear ends handed to us. And you've got that great smile on your face the entire time. Even when we walk away, you have such a great attitude all the time. Well, you're sitting inside that room and, inside your in-laws' house. What did you mentally do to get through that?
I think it was, look, I think we all have our moments of depression or getting down on ourselves. And I hit that first, right? Like, I can't believe this is happening. How many bad decisions did I make? I thought I was doing everything right. And then when I accepted the fact that maybe I did make some wrong decisions, I spent too much, I didn't have enough saved, but really the market just collapsed around us. And then seeing Tina, she was devastated, right? This was hard for her. She comes from a great family. She's probably thinking, I just married this Yahoo. and look what's happening. And when she stepped up and said, I know you're going to build this again, you just need to focus and do it. And she let me just, focus and not have to carry like the worry and the stress. And her parents opening up themselves, and my parents gave us a car when I didn't have a car anymore at that moment. They gave me their Yukon. It was like everybody around me, I had a good support system, and it was just, it was tunnel vision motivation. I was working the mortgage job. I didn't even mention, I started selling timeshares at night, and then I would come home and I would actually sign up for the banks and do BPOs and try to learn REO, because I was like, I will not allow this to be what dictates my life or who I am. I worked too hard to be what I was, to not, to crash and then just accept it. So, and I wasn't going to quit the industry. I love real estate. So many people got out of it, and I don't think you have to get out of it when the markets change. None of us just foresaw what was coming, so we didn't adapt to it. And I think now, if we're always, you can double down on some hands, but you also have to fold on others, and we have to know when to do that. And because of Tina, I really say, like, she let me get in that room, close the door, and do whatever it takes to kind of find that next niche, and supported me in doing it. And she had a lot of nights where she was crying, right? Because of the stress, and it was hard. But I think that's what makes us who we are now.
So I'm taking notes over here. I wrote down number one, you have to have the right support group around you, don't you? Like, you've got to have the right people, like whether it was your wife or your in-laws and everyone else that believed in you, right? Yeah. Because you've got to have, I've heard the old saying that you've got to, any person to have a breakthrough in their life needs to have two people that believe in them. Number one is themselves, but number two is somebody else outside of them, Jesse, that believes in them. And it sounds to me like Tina was that person for you, I wrote down number two, there is no substituting work ethic, period, because you were busting your ass, man, like day in, day out, working till 2 or 3 o'clock at night. So, all those are key in terms of reinventing. But what else would you say to everyone? Like, now you're, I don't want to say on the top, because, it's as we get closer to what we think a 10 is, the whole scale changes. So, you people look at you and you go, close to a 10, but, I'm sure that you're like, okay, there's a next level for me.
Let me touch on, I think, the third thing to reinventing, and I think this is the biggest key, is the ego. because so many of us work so hard to get to a certain level, and we go, this is where I am. And when we start to see the shifts start to happen, and we don't want to accept them and go, I don't want to start over. I don't want to be the new guy, the new person in that whatever. And, I was the biggest standard sell agent in my market, my farm. Everybody loves me in my town. Now I have to go do short sales. I don't want to do short sales. You know what I mean? A lot of agents that were great agents fought that transition. And that's why they didn't reinvent, and I think it was an ego thing. It was, I don't want to sell the bad house, or I don't know how to do that. Right. So it's like, we're always going to have to like re-educate ourselves on whatever that new, thing out there. And then two, we have to accept the fact that it's okay to go back and start over, because we're not really starting. It's still all real estate. And I feel now that because I've seen originally a good cycle, then I did REO, then I worked with investors, and now I feel like I'm back to a good cycle again, right? Doing a lot of traditional business, that I'm ready for it again. I'm not scared for short sales to come around in 2 years, 10 years, whenever it is, or REO. But there'll be a new version of it. It'll be silly to think that it's just going to be the same way, right? The short sales and REO that you just saw were not the same ones that you probably saw in the 90s, right? Technology played a big part now and automated a lot of the foreclosure process that we didn't have in the 90s, when the savings and loan issue happened. So there's going to be that next thing in 5 years or 10 years, right? Who knows? All foreclosures might go all virtual auction, but there's still going to be a place for us as realtors or mortgage people in this industry. So it's not having the ego and being willing to educate, to learn, to start over and be the new guy.
How do you control that? Because you're like, honestly, humility is, I think, one of your strong suits, man.
Thank you.
You have every reason in the world to beat your chest and go, like, I made it again. Like, I've got a TV program now. Yeah. How do you control your ego?
Obviously I have my moments where the ego pops out a little bit, where someone ticks us off and they're like, don't they know who I am? But more often than not, to be honest, it's can't even believe I'm here every day. It's like, it's so easy to remember what it was like in 2007. So maybe it's fear. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's fear of not wanting to go back to that day, and to allow myself to think that I'm bigger or greater than I am. And that, what I mean? That I can outlast anything. It's like, so I just keep my head down and go, I don't want to be back in that position. I didn't have kids the last time around when it happened. And I'm like, what me and Tina went through, I definitely never want my kids to have to see happen. So it's the fear of loss, I guess, that keeps me humble to the point of just, be grateful that it's happened, that God's blessed us, and that it's going to go away. Everything has a cycle, even this TV show thing, which could be the greatest thing that's ever happened to our family. It may only last a year, 2 years, 3 years. And how cool that I have a DVD to remember it, hopefully.
No kidding, man. Yeah. So let's talk about the TV. Let's talk about the TV program. That just came about. I remember about a year ago when you and I were working together, you're like, okay, I've got this opportunity. It's sort of coming together. And then all of a sudden, bang, man. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what is it? Where can they watch it?
Yeah. So the name of the show is Vintage Flip. It's on HGTV, Home and Garden Television. Which is the greatest channel for real estate and home design and construction. And it's, I'm happy to be on that network because it's a dream channel, right? Like, everybody who watches it, you're dreaming. They're calling to our clients, like, buyers and sellers, right? Every new buyer, which amazes me, like how many of my friends in the early to mid 30s are like, yeah, I watch HGTV. I love this show and this show and this show. Because they're all buying their first or second home, and they get all these great ideas on how to, do a cool reclaimed wood wall and DIY and do it yourself and stuff. So Tina and I are really, really excited. It's a family show. It's called Vintage Flip, which basically the premise is we flip historic architectural character homes. So it's got the flipping aspect of the fact that there's money and there's capitalism behind it, right? And we want to buy something old, fix it up new, and make a profit, but also trying to keep the integrity of the home. Buying a 1920s craftsman home, and that maybe all the moldings were stripped out of it in 2 or 3 different remodels that happened over the last, 95 years, putting all the molding back in, restoring those hardwood floors, but then maybe changing the floor plan a tiny little bit to make the kitchen open to the living room, which most of us want right now, because we want to be, if I'm in the kitchen cooking and Tina's, at the dinner table helping the kids with homework, we want to be able to communicate with each other And so we bring a little bit of the modernism of that, without, butchering obviously an architectural home, and then bringing all the cool character about these old houses. They're just built so differently than today's homes, and not knocking today's builders. But just, when you go down an old street and where you live, there's so many character homes, and it's awesome when you drive by. You could drive by one street for 10 years and still notice the house and go, I've never noticed that house before, because the trees maybe were overgrown in front of it, and then it's this amazing like Spanish or Tudor. So it's awesome. I think the show is going to do well. I'm hopeful of it because it's got so many great. It's got the DIY factor. It's got a salvage factor. It's got a historicalness factor, and it's got the modernization. And then it's got Tina doing the designing and staging, me doing the construction and the real estate. And then our boys play a part, and they're in there helping us stage and paint. And it's real life. We're a little real estate company that's a family-run business, and I grew up in a family-run business, helping my dad stock shelves in our meat markets. So it's awesome to see Carter and Mason now doing that. And it reminds me of what I did with my dad, and all my brothers grew up like that.
What have you, that's phenomenal, man. I saw the pilot, and it was just amazing, man. I know there's more that are out right now. What have you learned from, because this is an opportunity that very few of us will get, which is to actually have our own television show. So we want to learn from you right now.
Okay.
What have you learned from being on that program that can translate for everyone who's listening into everyday life?
Wow. I can you elaborate on that? I don't, what do you mean?
Yeah. So what have you, like, every opportunity, everything that you do is an opportunity to learn something about yourself, right?
Okay.
What is it that being now filmed, right? Like, you have to be filmed, you're on, like, you're balancing all this together. What have you learned about yourself from or learned that you can apply towards business from the filming itself?
Well, that I can handle high stress.
Nice.
Because if I thought I was busy before when I was running, our company, and flipping just, basic homes and having fun doing that, now adding the capturing it all in real time aspect to it, is tough. Time management, right? So that's one thing that I learned. I learned that I can push my limits, and there's still more there. I'm not a big physical fitness person. I'm not in the gym all the time, but friends that are, they intrigue me because, I'm like, God, I do 10 reps and I'm so sore and I want to stop, right? But it's because I don't have the mental capacity yet. My muscles can do it, but I'm not mentally there. But in the work side of things, I'm not scared of, going to your house and taking a listing appointment, running down and meeting a contractor at a house and designing something, shooting home and having dinner with the family, then jumping back on the laptop, putting the kids to bed and waking up the next morning and going, hoorah, let's do it again. And obviously I break sometimes too, and get like, oh my God, I can't do this. And then you realize, God, there's so much more in us. There really is. We're not pushing ourselves. Not nearly enough. I don't know all the technicalities of our brain and our body, but there's a lot to it,
So you found another gear, right?
Exactly.
There's another gear that you found that you're kicking into. One of the questions I wrote down that I wanted to ask you actually centralizes around this, and that it has to do with balance.
Okay.
Because I look at, you, Tina, your kids, the program, the flipping, the team. You guys just opened up your brokerage this last year in what is the city? What city?
Claremont.
In Claremont. Beautiful Claremont, man.
The city of trees and PhDs.
Trees and PhDs. Coach me on how to manage all that, dude. How do you do that? How do you manage it all without having, your relationship fall apart, or you feeling guilty as a father, or,
Sure.
How do you do it?
So every morning Tina goes to the gym. She's like the workout fanatic, and I get my quality time with the boys. I wake up with them, I'll do breakfast with them. I'll watch cartoons. I'll just play with them. Right. So every morning I wake up to a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old with the biggest smiles on their face, right? With not a worry in the world. And I think it like resets my clock every single day starting like that. So I get my 2.5 hours in the morning with them like that. Then I go to work. And because my office is within, I'm less than 1 mile, my office to my house, I pop in and out all day long. There's so much interaction happening between me and Tina on the houses that, it's, hey, can you come by and grab these tile samples and take it? So then I'll come by and, and I get to reconnect for 5 minutes, and especially because since she works with me in the flips, we'll go together to go see the house. We'll talk about it. The second thing, we do have a nanny that helps us.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, if that's politically correct in the world or not, but we do need to have help so that Tina can do the things that are important to her that she needs to do too. You can't just all day long, be mom. You need to get your nails done as well. You need to get your hair done. I mean, I've got my nice haircut, right? So that needs to happen for her as well. So having that extra set of hands helps. And they also help to take care of the home part so that Tina can do more with the kids. And then we do a lot of stuff together, so we do a lot of stuff. I mean, the kids will go with us. I mean, Carter, if he was on the show right now, would be talking about more design elements than about. And he's only 4. Every time he walks in the house, he's like, Daddy, I think we should take down this wall. And I think we should, so they're engaged in the business because we're talking about it a lot. And it's just part of our life. And then, lastly, date nights. We go on 2 date nights a week.
Okay.
A week. I know that's crazy.
I know most people are like struggling Marcy and I struggle to go on 1 a week, man. You guys are going on 2 a week. That's
2 a week. I talk to people that do it like once a quarter.
Or ever.
Yeah. And I just like, I can't, I don't know how that's possible. Like, I mean, if I couldn't spend that quality time with Tina, I mean, last night we went to the mall, and we did some Christmas shopping, and she went to a couple of her stores, went to a couple of my stores, we did a couple of joint stores. So, but in that point, we got to have dinner, talk, catch up. What did your day consist of? What did my day, even though we're talking all throughout the day, but it's work related when we're talking throughout the day. When we get to go to date night, there's a little bit of work, and then it's, oh, I love that shirt on you, babe, buy that shirt. And, what do you think about should I get this shirt for the open house? And this just happened last night. And so we're constantly engaged. Like, I mean, if we weren't doing that, life would be tough. I would actually be miserable if I was not spending that time. I don't know how people can't do that, and not spend that quality time with their loved ones. I mean, work is like important, but like work-life balance, I mean, that's the key.
Yeah. So you guys schedule these, and I remember reading something. You're probably too young to remember this. There was a book called "Everything I Needed to Know I Learned in Kindergarten" back in the 80s, right? 80s, early 90s.
I don't know it.
I knew you wouldn't, right? Google it. For those of you that have no idea, Google it somewhere out there. And the number one thing in there was marry the right person, because all your happiness will depend upon that, right? Like all of business, everything else revolves around that. So this is off topic. However, this has sort of evolved, and that's what I love about our conversations. I mean, you and I were joking when I said we could BS for 2 hours.
Yeah.
What is the key to a great relationship for you and Tina? Is it the time you spend together?
Yeah.
Like, because there's a lot of people who are listening right now, and they're going into the new year and they've thought about their business, but they're also like re-engineering who they are as a couple, right? Or in whatever relationship, or as a father. What's the key to being a great husband or a great spouse? And I'm gonna ask you another one here in a second too. So what's the key there?
So support. I think support's probably the biggest thing. I mean, supporting each other in everything, and being understanding, and being able to let go, like not to hold a grudge. So with everything I'm saying, you could be watching this and going, oh my God, they're trying to be so perfect. No. I mean, we argue, we'll get into fights. We're normal, right? I don't pick up my clothes, or put them away. And then I'm not your maid, you know what I mean? You don't help me enough is what I'll say. It's normal. We've had a talent. So we've been together since we were 18 years old. We met freshman year of college. And we'll have the biggest blowout, intense, like fight, like, verbal, like going at it, and instantly forgive. It's like we get it out and we're done. We don't hold a grudge. Like, I mean, we have never like go to sleep mad, and I know we've all heard that a million times. We'll never go to sleep, but we really don't. Like, I mean, it's like after a fight or something mean is said, I mean, I'm instantly like, oh God, I feel horrible, like, and then I swear it makes us like stronger, love each other more, re-engage, appreciate each other more, realize I am being a slob. I'm so sorry. I'm tired from work, and then it's like, then I'll get better at it for a couple of weeks and I fall off again. And it's constant work. I mean, the marriage is work as well. And I think that go back to the date nights, it's a recharge of that battery. It's maybe only 2 hours long, but a nice dinner and a glass of wine and just kind of being able to connect as adults, you know, instead of it being about Carter's school and the project and, oh my gosh, here's Christmas and what's Elf on a Shelf going to do for the next 5 days?
Dude, you guys have the Elf on the Shelf too, man.
We do have Elf on the Shelf. Yes. Elf on the Shelf is amazing.
It's very cool. Dude, do you realize something? And I'm not sure if you ever realize this, but there's a common thread that you have that I think it like runs through this whole reinventing and reengineering, and you just nailed it. The ability to let go. You know what I mean? I asked you, what does it take to be a great husband? You said you gotta let go. And if we look at what you have had the ability to do as a business professional, is you've been able to let go of who you define yourself as and grab onto something else. You're not so tied in, as you said, from an ego standpoint of this is who I am, that you're able to to reinvent and to be able to move forward. Do you see the parallel there?
You're totally right. I mean,
One more question for you, man. One more question for you.
Yeah.
And this is me asking you because, you know, I get the chance to, very rarely do we get to connect anymore. So you got 2 kids, you got Carter and you got Mason, 4 years old and 2 years old. Okay. We got a bunch of men who are listening right now and a lot of women who are listening too. You know, like we got a great audience that's a mix of the two. What's the key to being a great parent?
Patience. You know, patience, because the kids will test the patience. You know, you have all the stresses of the world all day long, the work, this, and you come home and then maybe they're acting out. And it's being able to understand that they're just kids. You know, they just want your attention and to, you know, to be understanding, to be like loving unconditionally, and to realize that, you know, give them a little bit of time. You know, play with them, hang out with them. You know, I think, you know, discipline obviously as well. We can't let them run amok and just do whatever they want. But to be a good, strong parent is I think patience, because, you know, God, look how old we are, and we're messing everything up, and they're just learning everything for the first time. So, I mean, it's been the coolest thing I've ever experienced. Definitely is being a dad. You know, the 2 kids, I mean, I love them so much. I mean, I kiss them so much to the point where, like, if people saw it, they'd probably be like, okay, that's weird. Okay, why is he kissing them so much? I hug and hold, and, you know, and they're in this phase where they don't want to sleep in their bed. They want to sleep with us. And I love every second of it because I'm a cuddler, and I definitely love on them hard. And patience. I think I have to say patience because I lose my patience sometimes. You know, you come home and you're.
Does that patience show up in business as well too? I mean, because that seems like a great axiom for business as well too, which is, hey, we've got to be patient as well too. You know?
Patience and understanding. I think I think you just define. I didn't realize this, but yeah, I have it at home and I have it at work. I let my staff slip on a lot of stuff, and to the old point where my own employees would be like, "You're too easy on us," you know. Yeah, and I'm not too easy on you guys. I just want to, you know, embrace you to let you know that you need to make your own decisions. And if you're going to make the wrong decision, if I cut off your head every time you make a bad decision, you'll never make a decision. And for me to step out and be able to do, you know, an escrow company, a real estate company, a construction company, a flipping division, traditional sales, TV show now, I have to have good people around me that can make decisions when I'm not around. So patience and understanding, I think, works at home and at work.
Brother, dude, I've got an entire page of notes, and I've got to tell you, have the right people around you is so critical. Right? And like you said, number 1, number 2, work ethic. Number 3, let go of the ego. You know what I mean? Be willing to let go of who you define yourself as and recognize that it could all be gone. And what you're left with is who you are. And I know that, you know, I really want to thank you for the transparency here today, Jessie, because we did something today that we haven't done on Real Success, which is talk about things that were a little bit outside of real estate, which is what makes a great husband, what makes a great parent, you know. And I really believe as we do these interviews, man, and it's so important for us not to just be talking business, but who are we evolving into as a human being as well too. And you've given us some great information here. So dude, you got a chance. We're sitting down, we're having a glass of wine.
Okay.
You know, I say, I want to crush it in 2016. Okay. As we end the interview here, what would you tell the guys and gals, you know, the Real Success Nation who's listening right now? What would you recommend to them leaving this to make 2016 their best year ever?
So 1, have a plan, you know, which we talk about over and over again throughout the year, and have a plan, focus, because we're going to get distracted. There's going to be a million things that are going to hit us, right? We're going to have a plan, be ready to start it tomorrow, and then that bad phone call is going to come in. So that let the bad phone call come in, let it go, and then move on with what you have to do to execute your plan of action. Because one thing I learned from you and Tom years ago is without a goal, you'll never hit anything. So have your goal. If it's 100 transactions, if it's 10 transactions, if it's one transaction for this month, is know what that goal is, focus on it intensely, and you will hit your goal every single time. So it's like, I think everybody for 2016 needs to realize, have your plan, focus on your plan, and then to execute the plan, just have a few different, sale. You need to feed your sales funnel is the best way to do it. And, and that's from, if you're an investor, if you're a flipper, if you're a traditional agent, we each have a target audience. Are we putting ourselves in a position in front of our target audience to get transactions and make it happen? Don't sit in the office and say, I'm not selling anything, because it's probably not few sales are going to happen if I'm just sitting here. Get on the phone, call someone, text someone, Facebook somebody. You know what I mean? People want to hear from us. And if they don't, then let them tell you they don't want to, and then reach out to somebody else, So
beautiful, man. Brother, dude, so from me, from Tom, we have been around each other from old school days. You know what I mean? Like old school, when you were like 20, 33, actually, as you were 24, 25. I just want to say how proud I am of you for who you've become. And look, taking the program and everything else and putting it aside, who you are as a man is really inspiring to me. Who you are as a father is very inspiring to me. Who you are as a business person, but you've got the formula down, man. So, but it's all the other stuff that you're doing, and the fact that this program is about you and your family. It's amazing. So do me a favor, give Tina a big hug, because she's smoking hot. Okay? Oh yeah. Give Tina a big hug. Mason and Carter, tell them we say thank you for sharing you with us all the time. And brother, most importantly, I appreciate you and for everything that you've done, and just for that smiling face all the time, the great information here. Go back, watch this video again and again and again, because there's so many nuggets inside of it. As we end here, hey, if they want to send a referral to you, right? Okay. If they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
It would be via email.
Okay.
Email or text message. My email address is Jessie@calamericanhomes.com. That's Jessie at Cal, C-A-L, AmericanHomes.com. We work the Southern California market. Please don't think of me just as a flipper. We are regular realtors. We want to sell everyone's house we can in our neighborhood. And if you ever have a good deal, if anybody in the TFO organization has, a good deal that we can possibly buy and flip, we've done a lot of business with other people, Eileen Rivera, Shar Constantino, and I'm so appreciative to you, Bill, for when you were my coach, from when Tom was personally coaching. I mean, you guys really helped. I don't know if you even realize this. When I came to TFO, it was in that transition period for me. I mean, a lot of conversations with Tom, and Tom will probably laugh when he sees this, in the office, being that insecure little boy, kind of like, I don't know. Oh my God, I did so many houses. I sold 400 houses. What am I going to do now? And him just going, you know what to do. You know what to do. You know what I mean? And he let me figure it out. And then it's like, bam, and the next thing hits, and we're all going to have that little lull where we're not sure and we're insecure about ourselves. And it's just important to not fall too deep in it and re-engage and realize that it's just real estate. Doesn't matter who the buyer or the seller are. It's just still a house. And we need to find if it's a corporate client or a regular client. There's millions of transactions happening a month, and all we need is a small percentage of those to do very well.
Brilliant, man. I love it. Awesome, man. Thank you again. So, hey guys, Real Success Nation, this is our last video of the year. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Festivus if you celebrate it, whatever it is that is your celebration. We just want to say thank you for listening for another year. We're looking forward to all the interviews we're going to do this next year for you guys as well too. And we've gotten great feedback. And if there's ever anything that we can do to be able to support you and assist you, remember to find us at tomferry.com. That's tomferry.com. So Jessie, you rock. Have a absolutely wonderful finish to this year, man. Can't wait to see you in January. For everybody else, have a wonderful time with your family. Squeeze them for all that you got. And again, thanks for watching. Talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.